Hello, my name is Marnie and this is Jerry. On behalf of Spyderco, we'd like to thank you for purchasing our new model 204 Triangle Sharpmaker. It is the next generation in a long line of Spyderco sharpeners. It's our goal with this video and the accompanying instruction book to help you get the most out of your new Triangle Sharpmaker. We've arranged this video to closely follow the instruction book. What we could only show you with pictures in the book will be covered with live action here. You're watching the introduction right now, and in the next section we'll give you a brief history of blade grinds and sharpening.
We'll also show you how to set up your sharpener and then how to sharpen a variety of knives, including your serrated blades. Then following the knife section, we'll show you how to sharpen all your scissors.
When we're finished with scissors, we have a whole section on shop tools and then some oddball items such as nail clippers and potato peelers. And once we've shown you how to sharpen everything, we'll finish up by demonstrating how easy it is to clean the Sharpmaker. But now, to show us how to use the Sharpmaker, we're very fortunate to have the founder of Spyderco, as well as the head of Research and Development Department, Sal Glesser. Sal has been involved with the development of this sharpening system as well as all of Spyderco's sharpeners, and he's undoubtedly the best person to show us all how to get the most out of our Sharpmaker. So let me introduce Sal Glesser.
Morning.
Hi,
Jerry.
Sal. Nice
How you
to see you.
doing? Good to see you again.
It's great to have you here to show us how to use this thing.
Well, they said if I didn't do it, they'd take away my crayons.
Sal, I'm really excited to learn how to use the Sharpmaker, but before we get started, could you give us a little history on where did sharpening get started?
Yeah, it'll take a couple minutes to set up some stuff, and we'll get right into it.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay, the whole history of knives goes back a long way. Before we had fire, we were cutting things. So a knife is actually man's oldest tool. They started back in the Stone Age with using very hard rocks, essentially. This is a piece of flint, and the way they created the edge was by applying pressure with another rock and actually flaking off the pieces of flint. What you end up with is a sharp edge, which they used for cutting things. However, once the edge was gone, they had to go back to the knife maker and recreate the edge or sharpen it. And the way they sharpened it was the way they made the original knife, was by flaking off the extra rocks. But the sharpening of the knife was a critical part of even having one. Another example is here. These are from Kodiak Island in Alaska. They're predecessors to ulus. This is the cutting edge, and this is the way they were held. And they used them for skinning animals or scraping or cutting food. However, again, once the edge was gone, they needed a sharpening stone, and it's funny that these three pieces were all dug up together out of an old dig. And this, rather than flaking it, what they did is they used the harder stone to actually remove part of the slate, and so they created their edge this way. And the edge could be created up to a certain point, but the angle, which was very difficult to maintain, took a fair amount of skill. And even in modern days, we use natural stones. This is an Arkansas stone. It's a piece of novaculite, and it's quite hard. It's harder than any metal, and so they can use it to remove metal. But again, you still had to maintain your angle. So if you were sharpening this way, if you changed your angle even a little bit, it changed the edge, which made it even more difficult to try to maintain a consistent angle. So consistency became the goal. And about 150 years ago, people discovered that the inside of a crock pot, if you set your knife in there this way, you can see that the curve of the pot actually creates a consistent angle. And by running your knife on the inside of the pot, you could actually sharpen the edge consistently because the crock was harder than the steel, and you could actually create an edge. Now, this concept went a little bit further. A man named Louis Graves created a piece of porcelain, very much like this, only more modern, and the V shape is designed to maintain consistent angle control. And the way that's done is, if you were sharpening this way, let's turn that stone up a little bit, and now we keep the blade straight up and down. And the straight up and down visual is the way we maintain the control. Now, from the early 70s on, a whole slew of various kinds of V sharpeners came into production, eventually ending up with this. This is the Triangle Sharpmaker, the one that we produce, and it's probably the most sophisticated and the most versatile of the sharpeners on the market today. And again, the technique is keeping the blade straight up and down. And I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. But it's the edge that we're concerned with a knife. Now, there's a variety of different kinds of grinds that they'll use to create an edge. There's 4 basic grinds. One is called a hollow grind, and that's where they take your basic piece of steel and using 2 wheels they hollow out a portion. This is a hollow grind, and you can see where the steel is actually hollowed out on both sides.
Oh, okay.
And that's how you end up with an edge. A second type of edge would be called a flat grind, and that's where you start at the top and you just go straight to the edge. It's easier to see coming down one side and down the other. A third type, which isn't used much anymore, it's a double convex grind where you come around this way. Sometimes it's called an apple seed grind because of the actual shape. Back in Japan, they used to call it hamaguri-ba, 800 AD. That's how far back this goes. But in all cases, what you're trying to do is get to the edge. There's another type that's been used quite a bit. Recently, they call it a chisel grind, but this has again been around for many years. You'll notice that on one side it's flat or sometimes even a little hollow,
Right.
and the other side it's actually comes in this way. So you have the grind is just on one side.
So what's the point of having different grinds?
They're just different ways of getting to the edge. In the case of a chopping tool, that's where you would want that apple seed grind, like on a hatchet. You'll find most hatchets are done that way so you can have a lot of meat behind the cutting edge so it doesn't break down.
Okay.
The hollow grind and the flat grind are the most common used today. They're just two different solutions to the same problem, almost like Fords and Chevys. They have 2 different advantages. And the advantage of a chisel grind or a kataba grind is that when you're cutting food, this part gets right up to the part you're cutting, and this part throws the food off to the side.
Oh, okay.
So, but in all cases, what we're trying to do is create a very sharp edge. And what I'm going to do next is show you how to use this tool on a knife to create a sharp edge.
I think most of us think a knife is just a knife.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is until it goes dull, and then you throw it away and go get another one, right? With this tool, you can actually make the knife sharper than it was when it was new.
Is that right?
And it's quite simple to do because of the angle control that started back here with the crock pot.